Hi, I'm Mike Gano. Let's talk about risers. You know, I prefer doing things with gear whenever possible, and I found the best way to do risers on gear is using the MPC. I can have a bank of them always ready to trigger for a transition, and I can guarantee they're always on the beat even if I change the tempo. There's a little trick to doing that, and today I'm going to show you how.
We'll start with an empty project and a blank drum program. And the first thing we'll want to do is set your tempo to whatever you're going to use most frequently, just somewhere close. So like I use 120 for house and techno. Then what we'll do is we're going to go to Browse, hitting Shift menu on the Live II, and go to Samples. Make sure you're in Content. And for me, if I've sorted by name, the first thing that comes up are the acoustic cymbal crashes. Now, if these don't come up for you, you can also search in the directory for CRSH, and that'll filter for just the crashes. And I'm just going to pick the first one here. So we'll say load, and then I can go directly to Shift mute here, which is just taking me to the sample edit. And there's a few things I want to do here. First, go into settings and turn on beats. Then zoom into the beginning of this waveform. We're working with a stereo sample. So what I'd like to do here, convert this down to a mono signal, and it creates it on a new waveform. So if we go up here and move to the second waveform, zoom back out, now you can see that we've got one clean crash, but it's still got some messy transients right at the start. So what I like to do is just cut off a bit of that from the start so that we've got a nice clean whoosh sound once we reverse this. So here I can go back to process at the beginning to discard, do it. We've truncated that. Now we're ready to cut this down to 2 bars. So we want to take the end, get it close. You can dial it in by going to the end, and then it doesn't have to be perfect, something like this. Process again, discard, and now we've cut our loop precisely to the 2 bars. We can reverse it, and we can also normalize it to get the waveform as fat as possible. Now we've reversed our crash. Let's see if it actually is landing on the beat. I want to come back to main and assign the sample to one of the pads. We're working with reverse crash 2. Press the button to assign, come back to main, turn on your metronome, and then drop a beat right at the beginning. Now you can listen to hear what it sounds like. From the grid is a nice way to see what's happening. Play. Perfectly on the beat. So the problem that usually happens here is if we come back and change our BPM to something like this, we go back to the grid, we play, then now our crash is not landing squarely on the beat. There's a trick to solving that. There's 3 things you have to do in the warp page that I'm going to show you now. So we go into warp samples, turning on warp, setting the BPM to what you recorded at. It doesn't always register perfectly, so you really need to make sure that's whatever you first put in for the BPM. And then you need to make sure that the BPM sync button is lit. You want that lit. Now when you do those 3 things, then if you go back to the grid, you can guarantee that it lands perfectly on the beat.
And that's how you do it. Simple, really. If you found this helpful, please click that like button, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time.